Welcome to my next video. This is a work in progress video. Everything may change between now and release, but it'll give you an idea of how the trees release is going. I've been working away on the laser scan track for a while, but I'm back into the inner workings of the next release, and thought it was at a point where I could start to show off a bit and show you what you're in for. What we've got here is the interface, which is very basic, very similar to what you'll find in your textures, with a tree view here, pardon the pun, and an icon list here showing all the trees available. You can click on each of these to fine tune it, and you'll notice some checkboxes here. That'll become apparent why I've got those there in a moment. So we're on the add single tree tool, which allows you to just drag it around on the terrain wherever you want, plant it about. So we've created 4 trees all of the same type, and if we check these and start clicking, we get it cycling through each of the selected trees to plant one of each type each time we click. You may notice that the trees aren't always the same size or shape. By default, each of these is set up with some randomness built in. That's got some parameters to say how tall and how much taller it can get or shorter it can get, and you can override those features. I'll just go back to one tree for the moment, and we'll override the randomness, and we'll just put everything to 0 to begin with, and now when we click, we're just going to get trees that are all the same. You'll notice that they're just the cross shapes, these trees, nothing too fancy, although we do have the potential there to build more complex trees, which I'll demonstrate. I'll just touch on that a little bit later. So there we've got default randomness. We can add some scale in here, so this is scale at all. If we put in 50 here, you'll get 50% plus or minus to the default settings. So you see there's some variety in the shape there. If you just wanted to affect the height, you could change it. I'll put in 100 here, and we'll get trees that are all the same width, but their height will vary a lot. So that gives you the ability to create, a very mixed bunch of trees using few textures, and you won't get the, well, in some tracks the people have been a bit slack, and you see the trees of all the same height, and usually that's just done out of lack of time or willingness to go and change that. Well, in BTB, you're going to get that randomness by default. You're going to have to go to some effort to switch it off by overriding it. I'll just go back to the default settings now. Oh, one thing I will show you is the pitch and roll. Can give you some wacky results. So if I just create a few trees here, you see they're a bit wonky and bent over. That would be good with some dead trees or something like that. Might be a way of getting a interesting look there. So we'll switch that off, and we're back to the regular thing. The next tool I have is a line draw tool. So if we just pan out a bit and draw a line on the landscape, you see the trees are just following where I've traced my mouse. I want to refine that a little bit so you can control the density a little bit better, and that also obeys the cycling process that you can also squiggle, and it's cycling through each of those trees, which is pretty useful. And last but certainly not least is the lasso tool, which allows you to plant an area just by making a circle around it. you can change the density of that, so you can make something more sparse if you want to do a large open few trees. Excuse me. Or you can ramp up that density if you wanted to create a thicker forest. So it's pretty quick to have created all those trees. The other thing I've got there is a terrain only, so if you are working on a winding road that goes up a mountain pass and you wanted to put trees either side, there it is. You're done. So they're pretty interesting features. The other thing that you may have noticed is that I've got something here called roadside, and in fact what we've got, and I'll just switch back to adding points there and we'll just zoom in blank space. You're able to just switch off my trees, add in stop signs. Thrilling, you might say, but basically the point you may have already captured onto is that that's going to allow for all sorts of objects, and not just flat shapes, but shapes of all kinds. In fact, you may have noticed the icon for tree actually reads objects. That's what I'm working on next, and we'll be able to plant all sorts of shapes using these tools, and it's not just going to be about trees. It's still going to be a lot of work, so it's a fair way away. But as with all things, it's the result that counts, and I think it's going to be pretty good. Just quickly, I'll go back here and just show off the terrain, in that you can move your terrain up and down, and it's a little bit slow and glitchy because I've got so many things and it's not refined, but basically you see your terrain is now pushing all your objects around. I'll just up the strength on that. And there you have it. Of course you can change the road too if I come in here and pull the road down or up. All your objects are following with it. It's pretty good stuff, and you can see there you've already got a very interesting terrain, and I haven't even begun to work on these trees and the materials in them, and hopefully that's where I'm going to get a bit of help. So yeah, lots of fun ahead. Hope you enjoy that. It's going to get out of hand fairly quickly, so I'll finish off the video there.